We'll say okay, so good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 7th. I'm really excited to throw this in there. I know we've had a lot of webinars going on, so I apologize for that. But I sat down with Michele a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, oh my God, we have to do this because we're right in this crazy window right now of eclipses. And there's a new moon coming on the 15th, right? Is it the 15th? Yeah. And so Michelle's going to work with us today about setting intentions and how to work with the moon energy, which I really, really love. So you guys know I like to do these really laid back, and I could do all of the, this is Michele and she does this and her company is Spiritual You, which I will give you all of that information later. But what I want to tell you is I love Michele. She's got this crazy understanding of being tuned into the planets and what's going on, and she's really empathic, and it's all of these amazing things. And I just wanted to bring her on today to help you guys with the whole idea of setting intentions, but not only setting intentions, but tying it in with the moon energy, which is what we're all about today. So that being said, I will turn it over to her, and then you guys can use the chat if you guys have questions as we go through this, or if you want to, at the end, we'll open it up for questions. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, this is Michele, and her company is Spiritual You. I will get all the links and everything to her Facebook group and her website and all of that stuff in here later.
Awesome. So hi, I'm Michele. I'm owner of Spiritual You. I am an empath that can go back into people's past life and clean out their karmic issues. But on my path, I have found that working with the moon is very beneficial for what we want to achieve in our life and see happen, to make those big changes. One of the things that we need to do is, I love to do, is to work with all elements. So we have fire, water, earth, so all air, all the different elements, and all the different senses. So the more senses and the more elements we put into use with our intention, the stronger it's going to become. So I always start out and figuring out, what is it do I want? And I always write it down first. So that way I know what I want to see happen. So there's the writing, the physical part. Then, for this right here, we're going to light a candle, because we need to put some fire energy into here.
I have a candle going.
Awesome. So have a candle going as you're setting your intention. So then today we're going to talk about, with this being February, the intention of self-love. And one of the things I like to do is, when I do my intention, is create a bath salt and then soak in my intention for at least 30 minutes in the bath water.
That's amazing.
So I have the Epsom salt here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in some essential oils for the scent. So we're using our peel, we are using our scents here, and so we're going to add in some thyme to help relieve and forgive myself for any past hurts of unaccepted love. You can put in as much as you want.
So tell me again what that is. You're using thyme for what?
To help release any past hurts or unforgiven that we have not forgiven ourselves for. So there's times where we may, bash our own selves, which is not self-love. And so we need to forgive ourselves for that.
Yeah.
So thyme is going to help release that. We have geranium oil to help with the trust within, just to know that we are worthy of love and that we're on the right path. And to trust that. We're going to put in some basil to renew the beauty within. We're going to put in some cypress so we can always stay in the flow of love and trust. We're going to put in some peppermint to keep the airways and the channels open. And then we're going to put in some frankincense. This is going to protect us as we open ourselves up to what we truly desire with that love within. And last, for the other physical piece, we're going to crush some rose petals. We're going to crush some rose petals into there.
I love that. It's so pretty.
And you're just going to put the lid back on, and you're going to shake it up to get it all in there. Because this here you can put it all into one bath, or you can use multiple. Depends on how much Epsom salt you want to put in there. You want to put it into an airtight container that you can store it in. So then while we're putting this into our bath water, another way to bring in our senses is through a meditation. And so I have I had a girlfriend create a meditation just all about self-love for us. And so I'm playing a little bit of that right here, right now, in the background.
So if you have not run your bath water yet, you can turn off this recording and then come back to this place when your bath water has been run.
Fast forward a little bit more.
I am protected while I renew and open myself up. I bathe in the beauty of love. Would you allow your body to now enter this vessel of water?
And so I used this, so as I was creating this, my intention, I wrote down what all the oils were representing, and I had her create this meditation for during the bath, which is also going to be for sale. You can also stones. So this here is a rose quartz. Rose quartz is really good for bringing in love. And so we're going to go ahead, and so we're going to have this here's the earth part, is the stone. And then another thing I have is, this is the Loveland tea for their Valentine's tea. And so I have these here also. And so what I do is that I will create the tea before my bath water. I'll go up and soak in the intention while drinking the Loveland Love tea, listening to the meditation, and just really soaking and just relaxing and letting everything out so everything can come back in anew. Another thing that I have done is that these are soul food cards. These here is all about inner self-love. So they talk about making sure that your body is nourished, making sure that your mind is nourished, making sure that your soul is nourished. So everything in here is all about self-love.
Is it like oracle cards or?
Not really. These here are intended just to choose one card like a day.
Okay.
And these here were created by a girlfriend of mine.
Okay.
So
you just pull a card to kind of focus on what you want to focus on for the bath?
for your bath, or just like you can pull it and go, oh, this is what I'm going to focus on today. Like I need to make sure my body has enough water.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, or I walk enough times around the lake or whatever. you know, get my steps in for that day. Just to help promote that inner self-love. So anytime we can bring in any of the elements, so we have the water, we have the fire, we have the earth, and then we did the touch, we have the sense, the writing, the physical, we have the smell, we have the taste with the tea, and we're seeing ourselves put all this stuff into the Epsom salt. So anytime we can use multiple use, any of our senses and earth elements, the intention is going to become stronger. The reason why we do this on the new moon is because everything becomes new. So as the old moon leaves, we get to release and let go of the old stuff. And on the new moon starts, we get to start everything anew again. We get to create everything we desire. So this is a good time to set that focus.
Okay.
There are times where instead of doing like one intention, I'll start taking my oils and my herbs and I'll just start throwing them in for any reason. Like, oh, this feels like it's going to open up airways. This feels like it's going to enhance everything. Wild orange is really good for money flow.
Okay.
And so I sit there and I just start adding oils to help, or herbs, to help clear things away or to help attract more things.
Okay.
You don't have to just limit to one area. You can put whatever you want to attract in there.
Okay. Good. When you're doing the intentions for the full moon versus a new moon, how do you look at that?
So the full moon, you want to do your affirmations and you want to do your releasing. So the full moon is all about release.
Okay.
The day before, it's a complete full moon. So you write down everything that you did not like that happened.
Okay.
And you burn it. And then on the full moon, you write down your affirmations and you stick them up by your mirror.
Okay.
For you to see every day.
Okay. And then the new moon, which is what we're coming into next week.
Yes.
Is when you do
your intentions.
Okay. And when you're setting intentions, is there anything specific? Is there a specific way that you do that? Because I know we all do them differently. So
no, there isn't any specific way. So your way is perfect and great because the universe is going to understand your way.
Okay. So you
for
want to
you.
set intentions for the month?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's till the new moon to new moon.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
I do.
Yeah.
How many, like, should you be really specific or should you just like load it up?
There's some months where I'm really specific, depending on like if I feel like there just needs to be a specific need, and there's some months where I just load it up.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter.
No.
Okay.
Just as long as you create your own routine and you set it the way you want it.
Okay.
So I always start out by writing first, lighting the candle, adding everything together, heating the hot water for the tea, then going upstairs, running my bath water, dumping it all in. So it ends up being like about an hour to 2 hour ritual once a month.
Do you put the rose quartz in the water or just keep
it?
You
can, yes.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that they're big enough that they're not going to go down the drain or so you can see them. But yeah, you can definitely put them in the water.
I actually have a little mesh bag that I use when I'm taking a bath that I put the crystals that I want in there. I put them in the mesh bag and put them in the bath with me. That way they don't go down the drain.
Right.
But the other thing about that too is if you're not real familiar with crystals, be careful which ones you put in the water because some of them will kind of disintegrate in water. So be careful with that.
Yeah.
It's not a crystal class, but just saying, like rose quartz would be fine, clear quartz would be fine, smoky quartz is great. What are some other crystals that you use in the bath?
You hear black tourmaline sometimes.
Okay.
And they're tiger's eye.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially if I'm just kind of opening up and meditating, I need that little extra protection.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to do the ones that are very, like, holy, they're very airy,
Right, right,
because those are going to dissolve a little bit more.
It probably just depends on which what your intention is for which crystals you want in there.
right, right.
Right. So to answer Cindy's question, the reason why you would put crystals into the bath water is to help promote the crystal energy within your own aura as you're taking that bath. So that way it just becomes closer to you versus having it on your countertop in the bathroom.
You guys know I wear them a lot, and I'll wear crystals, and I wear different ones on different days. But to put them in the bathtub, I feel like it just enhances it. I know that there's some fancy like water bottles you can buy that are crystal infused that have the crystals in so that the water gets that. And basically what you're doing is, because water is an amplifier, it's amplifying the property of the crystal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know those water bottles. I've seen those at like Northern Lights in Fort Collins. I haven't seen them anywhere else.
Okay.
They are pretty pricey.
I saw a really expensive one on Goop. But it had a giant amethyst in it. It was big.
Yeah.
Okay, so part of the reason I wanted to have Michele come on today is because, like I said, we're right in that doorway, right? We just had the full moon with that really weird eclipse, and now next week we're moving into the new moon. And it's a really, really powerful time. We've been talking in my membership group about even the reading that we did for that. It was so crazy about how it's all about new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like right now would be a really good time to start getting clear on what your intentions are that you want to create and what you want to come in new, so that we can get this really integrated and into our energy and into our experience for the new moon, and then creating this ritual that you've told us about and taught us on the bath. I love all the steps that you have about the candle, writing them down and writing down your intentions. The bath is fantastic. I'm really big about Epsom salt baths, so I love that. And adding the meditation to it is fantastic. Rose quartz is what you use for your earth element. And then the tea for the self-care. I love that too. I almost always have a drink. I won't lie. Sometimes it's wine. Hot tea, but the hot tea is probably better for me, but I love to take a bath with a glass of wine. So maybe, could we do that? Could we substitute wine for that?
Make it more of a red wine, so it's more of a grounding wine.
Grounding, yeah. See, there you go. That's exactly.
And it has more of the, you can't even say the word, just with an R that helps with your heart.
What is that? Reserve?
Yeah, Resort or something.
Red wine. There you go. See, so it's healthy. There you go.
You can make anything healthy if you really want to.
So while we're all on this call together, I think it would be really good to help each other get clear on, does anybody need clarity on what your intentions are? And like, Michele, is there anything you could share? Like, when you do this, stuff that you need to do. Can you hear that? Okay. Okay, I muted and unmuted. Is that better?
Yeah, that is.
I don't know what that was, but anyway, that's crazy.
That was crazy.
So setting the intentions, because we still have a little bit of time here. So I'm trying to decide how I want to go about this. Is there anything that you do personally or that you would share with us or that would help us get clarity on what would be good for us to set intentions moving forward? Like for me, I know that there's the intentions that I have right now are to get a little bit more clear on my work, to get back into this space of working, because I've taken so much time off from the holidays. I really have. I've been kind of disconnected from my work and really more focused in family. I think that's okay. I feel like that's good to have like a little bit of ebb and flow in life and know that you know, whatever comes up and what's present is what you need to work on and deal with in that moment. But right. I'm ready to get back into work. I want to get back to the book. I've written a book, and so now I want to get back into like actually finishing that up. When you set the intentions, do you try to structure and do like, you know, personal things or work things and all of that together combined, or do you just open up and let it flow, or what would be your process in setting intentions?
So for this right here on the new moon, I just kind of open it up and let it flow. So now if I wanted to set intentions for like my business,
Mm-hmm.
I would go in and each day, like each morning, go, okay, what is my intention for today, and write it down in the morning, and then allowing that to happen.
Okay.
You have to open up those paths.
Okay.
Right now, with the way the universe is, anything we think about is going to manifest quickly. Any issues we have are going to get brought forward, face forward quickly. But the nice thing is that any of those will also get resolved quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad or, indifferent.
Yeah. We've been talking
Everything
about that.
happens for us, never to us. So we got to look at it that way.
Yeah. We've been talking about that a lot lately too, on how quickly things are coming up and how quickly things are manifesting.
Yeah, things are going to happen a lot quicker now too. With this last eclipse, the 11/11 portal reopened up. The eclipse is in Leo for the next 6 months. And so Leo energy is all about relationships. It's all about, and it's about full force drama. That's just a Leo. I can't hide it. But it's all about relationships and honoring that, whether it's work relationships, love relationships, just good girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. It's all about relationships of all kinds.
Okay.
And the ones we don't want anymore, they're going to be showing up in our life, and there's not going to be anything good about it.
Okay.
It's going to be forcing us to go, it's time for me to book.
Right.
It's time for me to cut this.
It's almost like this is a not only new beginnings, but really completion time too.
It is, in a way. There's a lot of people, a lot of souls that are still fighting, leaving the third dimension. And so there's more and more souls that have reached onto the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to clean up. They're starting to realize that I cannot be attached to my stuff, like the physical stuff. And as we release the physical stuff, it's releasing our spiritual stuff.
Okay.
And it's allowing us to lighten up, to move forward.
Okay.
And so during that bridge time, it can take people 5 years, it can take people 10 years, but they are just purging like crazy.
Okay.
And depending on where they are in their path will depend on how fast that purging needs to happen. The faster it happens, the harder it's going to be.
Okay.
On that soul. But the sooner they're going to be done, and the sooner they're going to be able to figure things out.
Gotcha.
So there's always that dark before the light.
Mm-hmm.
And so because there's some souls that it's either all or nothing, and then there's some souls that can just handle a little bit at a time and do it slowly.
Okay.
Okay. I know I'm one of those souls that know it's all or nothing. So when things happen, it just gets piled and dumped. And I need to make those quick decisions
Mm-hmm.
to be able to move on.
Right.
Or get bombarded and buried in it. And so I try to really work hard not doing that. And so I have, making a few new choices in my life right now. So that'd be good. I'll announce that later when it becomes official. But yeah, it's all about releasing and letting go.
Okay. So really about releasing and letting go and being clear on what you want to create with this new moon.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I love it.
3D world was all about possessions and money. 5D is what we're all searching for and wanting to get to. We're going to be more spiritual. More of our chakras are going to be opened up. So if you've never worked with your 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th chakra, those are going to start to open up.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but do you notice anything out of your side view?
We've
And
actually
there's more things like around us that we're noticing.
some people in my group that have been talking about how, and I've been telling everybody for months, the spirit's going to start showing up in a lot more physical ways than what we're used to. Like it's really going to be showing up in ways that we're not used to. And I know there's been a couple people in my group that are having experience and they're like, what is going on? Like they felt somebody sat down on the bed, or they felt like somebody was in the car with them or things like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to start happening a lot more now. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because that gives confirmation for what I've been feeling as well.
Yeah.
I keep seeing things move.
Yes. That is going to be a big one. Right now, the veil is so thin that my grandmother, who has not made her transition, but is in the process of making her transition, I have seen her twice this last weekend, and we are 1,000 miles apart. And so I know she's on her way out and wanting to say goodbye through making this transition. So yeah, even the veils for people who are here is thin. And they're able to figure this out as they're in that transition. So yeah, that's going to be a big thing. And when they come to us, acknowledge them. If you don't feel like there's any, like, you don't feel harmed, just kind of maybe open your heart to them and go, hey, what's up? What do I need to know? And see if they'll tell you in your way.
Right.
Because we all have a different way of connecting and sensing things, and they know our way.
Right. Yeah.
Any other questions?
So do you guys have questions about the intentions? I know we kind of got a little bit off topic, which is fine. But I really want to use this energy right now for creating new stuff. And I know, Michele, now you have everything you just put together, you have a box, right?
Yeah, so I have it on my Etsy account.
Okay. So whenever I post this, I'll put a link up to that as well. So I'll have to get that to you so that we can put it up. So if you don't want to create your own, she's got them already ready for us.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
And then with that, you can choose whether or not you want the cards, because it's a little extra price, and that's on there, and the meditation.
Okay. Awesome. So we still have a few more minutes because I usually plan these for about 45 minutes. I'll do a recap on, let's just do a really quick recap, and then I kind of want to ask you about the past life work that you do.
Okay.
So I know that, is that okay with you? Because I know we
Totally
have
fine
on that, but I'm like, I really want to kind of get through that again. So I just want to go back through for the full moon intentions. I love the idea that you're saying, sit down, make it a little bit of a ceremony so that it's not just self-care, it's literally self-nurturing.
Right.
And so the lighting a candle is the fire element. The water element obviously is the bath. And then the earth element was the rose quartz.
Yep, stones.
And the air was?
The air is just kind of like there. Like we're breathing it in, we're intending to.
And then you said the peppermint was a little bit for that as well, right?
Yeah, it is, because it opens up our airways to flow.
Okay, now I actually have a plant in my bathroom right next to the tub because I feel like that brings in the earth and the air element together with that. And then I wouldn't use very much peppermint though, right? Because will it make you cold?
Right.
Just a tiny bit? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to how much we're putting in.
Okay, and then I love how you also brought in our senses too, like our physical senses. So smell, taste is the tea, which is going to obviously be the water and those kind of things. The rose quartz, I love the idea of actually putting that in the bath, but if you're not sure about putting the crystals in the bath, setting it right beside it would be just as good, right?
Yeah, like on the ledge. Gotta have it near you though.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, I love the way that you did that and made it more of like really getting in tune with yourself, setting the intention, nurturing yourself with the tea or the wine or whatever, and really doing the full moon intentions with the bath. What day do we do this? Because do we do it the night before the new moon or the night of the new moon?
The night of the new moon.
Okay.
So this year would be done on the 15th.
Okay.
For this month.
So the 15th of February.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody want to talk about intentions they have or how to get clear on some of the intentions they have? If you do, put it in the chat box. And what we'll do is I want you to go into it a little bit since we have time, a little bit about what you do with the past life stuff.
Okay. So what I do in the past lives is that I go in through your Akashic record.
Okay, I'm showing the screen can you guys all hear me? Because the screen is stuck and I don't know if it's hers or mine. Oh.
and we work on healing these emotions, that starts to make this lifetime, when these emotions were created, a lot easier for us to deal with. Because there's no strong tide back to a past life when that emotion started. And so that is how I use the past lives to change our effects of what is going on in this lifetime. Granted, when this happens in that stuff and we work through all of these, at first, sometimes depends when we're just doing surface stuff, it's really easy. It's like, oh, cool, this thing is done. I'm done with it. Great. But then there's times where something will get cleared, and something from this lifetime that triggered that emotion will get triggered again. And then you'll have to work through it in this lifetime. But you may not even realize that it was even there. So as we go through this, we also have to be aware that it's going to trigger those events that may have triggered that emotion to begin with in this lifetime, that we'll have to clear out to be able to release it fully, so it's not going to follow us again.
Good. Does anybody have any questions? I actually dropped off for just a minute. my connection went out. So I've heard this from her before, but if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask those now. Anybody?
I'm good, but
Awesome. Okay. So
yeah, I lost the whole at that point. I got the first chord to the first time that there was that emotion, and then what was that after that? There's just more times that you have to keep going back through it.
So so like in this lifetime, I had a very early on experience of being disappointed and feeling unloved. So that triggered all that emotion from whenever it happened in a past life. And so the more times it happened, the thicker that chord becomes. And then that gets rewritten in our subconscious. And so we just constantly, automatically go there over and over and over again without even realizing it. Because once it's wired into our subconscious, we go to that point without even thinking about it. So things are going to start happening in our life or showing up to show us that we are disappointed and unworthy or unloved. And so when I went through, starting clearing up my past, that these are all connected to, and it really brought up and out when those events happened in this lifetime. So then I had to go through and really work on this lifetime to really be where I am today.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Sorry, I don't know where I phased out. I zoned out on you, I guess, or myself there for a minute. But thank you. That's helpful.
You're so welcome.
So I think the one thing that I love about the past life work is sometimes when you see a theme that just keeps showing up and keeps showing up and keeps showing up and you don't know where it's coming from and you don't feel like you're creating it, sometimes it could be a past life thing that's being triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. Well, does anybody have any final questions? We're going to go ahead and wrap it up today because we're getting really close to 45 minutes. And I like to keep these short. Michele, do you have anything else to add? And I'm sorry.
I want to say thank you for letting me be here today.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I love the idea of the full moon intentions and doing the bath and all of that. It was really good. So I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
and the link to her Etsy shop will be.
Yeah, I'll get it posted. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
So, all right, everybody, I apologize for the little interruption. I'm hoping this is recording to the cloud so that I'll have a full recording, but we'll see, and I'll see what I can work with and at least get some of this put back up. So, okay.
Thank you guys for having me today.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye.